patterns, or sometimes they're called gobos, or they could be called templates, are a way of shaping the light that comes out of a LECO, like a source 4 light, or an actual LECO from Strand, so that you get it projects a texture on the stage. This is a gobo that's in a holder already, and you can see it's just really kind of an abstract design that looks sort of like a parquet floor, which I've used a bunch of times, and I think it has a really good look on the stage. You can see it's inside of a holder, and the holder uses a brad kind of like, well, exactly the same as you'd use on a gel frame, so that it holds it in there and keeps everything the way that it's supposed to be. So that's kind of an abstract one. And then I have another pattern right here, which is a leaf gobo, and I'm hoping you can see that. I'll hold the paper up behind it, maybe you can see it a little bit better. So you can see that it's shaped like leaves, is what it looks like. So the idea is that when you use this gobo on the light, it makes it look like you're underneath a tree where the light's all dappled from the leaves of the tree, and it shapes the way the light looks. And that's probably, leaves are probably the most common kind of pattern. If you look in any of the big three pattern makers catalogs, you'll find that the biggest number of patterns is always going to be what the leaf ones look like. Now, I think this is a great gobo to show because you can see that it's got these scorch marks all over it. And that's because it goes inside the instrument where it's really hot in there. It could be several hundred degrees. It's a really hot environment, and it tends to burn things up a little bit. Modern lights aren't quite as hot on the inside, and they don't burn the gobos quite as much, but it's still it's a kind of a difficult environment in there. I have another gobo that I want to show you, and all of these so far have just been steel patterns that are usually they're stainless steel, and they've been etched either with acid or with a laser process, so that it cuts out all the little areas where you want the light to be transmitted. This one is, if I turn it the other way, you can see it's like a little village with trees and so forth. So this is actually projecting an image of something that you can identify what it is. It's not just abstract, or it's not just sort of amorphous looking leaves. This is an actual picture of something. And the reason I'm showing this is because it has a way, when you look at it, of being correct or incorrect. With things that are more abstract, whether you had it this way or you had it that way, it's kind of hard to tell. But one thing that's always true with patterns in a light on stage is that the image comes out upside down and backward of the way that you've put the pattern in the light. So since this one is something that we need to see what it actually is, we need to know what that is. You can notice that I've put it into the holder upside down, all right, so that the light rays will cross over each other, and it'll look correct when it's projecting on, in this case it was on a cyc. Now, when you go to, and you have to put it in upside down from the get-go, because you can't put this part into the light this way. It's got to go in this direction. Now you can take the frame and you can spin it one way or the other, and that's fine. You can do that once you get to the light. But you need to make sure that you put the pattern in right side up, which is actually upside down, before you go to put it in the light.